We got to talk about Zach Wilson throwing for 35% against this Buffalo Bills defense, which shouldn't come as a surprise, right, Justin? Because this is the number one passing defense in the NFL. And outside of that one errant fourth down conversion pass that Poyer probably should have broken up, but just kind of got away from him, it is what it is. But you take that play out of it, and this is even more lopsided of a game. You're talking about 27-3, but that never happened, so we can't really talk about it. In any event, Zach Wilson throws for under 100 yards, 4.4 yards on average. We already mentioned that touchdown. He got sacked 8 times for 79 yards and had a quarterback rating of 66. The Bills' defense, 44 total tackles, 30 solo tackles, 9 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 3 pass deflects, and then, again, 10 quarterback hits. You want to talk about this defense rising to the occasion, making an inferior opponent like the Jets really just kind of crumble down? The Bills' defense took advantage of those opportunities. Now, I understand our last segment was talking about how the offensive side of football, they didn't take care of those opportunities. But the Bills' defense, they did their job. They kept them they kept the Jets from doing anything good. And I understand that the Jets' weapons were out of this game. So there's going to be asterisks next to that. And Jamison Crowder also left this game. So they had to put some undrafted free agent in the slot, too. I get that. But you cannot take away, Justin, that this Bills defense showed out.
Yeah, I think this is kind of something that we've been talking about for probably a solid 8 weeks now, is just waiting for the Bills to put together like full team performances. And we saw a pretty pedestrian day from the offense today. And really, to me, the reason the Bills end up winning this game is the defensive performance. I mean, of all the stats that you gave, there was also, Levi Wallace came real close to picking one off. The one that you mentioned with Poyer, he was real close to picking one off. And that one, in my opinion, looked like it might have gone to the house. Mm-hmm. But the defense really stepped up today. And yeah, you can say all the things that you want about, they're missing weapons and whatnot. And that's a fair point to make. But what I'm looking at is, over the last few weeks, some of these young Jets players have been finding a little bit of a stride. Zach Wilson's looked better over the last few weeks. Michael Carter, the running back in particular, has been looking really good. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you look at Michael Carter, 9 carries for 19 yards. So, he's a player that's really been gaining steam for them. And our run defense has been kind of something that we've struggled with. And it's the old cliche, you got to beat who's in front of you, and you can't control any of that. Just go take care of business. And that's what the Bills did today. I mean, we've been calling for the defensive line to have a game, and went out there with 9 sacks. I mean, Harrison Phillips really looks like he's coming into his own. Ed Oliver's been playing on fire. The one play that's really sticking in my mind from Oliver this game was Zach Wilson's going to hand the ball off, and Oliver shoots through so fast that they can't even get a handoff off. And could have been a huge turnover there. Fortunately for the Jets, it bounces right into Michael Carter's hands. But, I mean, you're talking he's causing a fumble before the handoff exchange even happened. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, you go further down the line, I think I even seen Vernon Butler almost pull off a sack in that one. So it was really like a full team performance there on, not the Jets' ideal starting 5 offensive linemen, but an offensive line that's been playing pretty well together as of late. So just an all-around, from the front to the back end of the defense, just an all-around terrific performance.
Yeah, D-line really showed out, and I don't think Vernon Butler was actually activated for this game. I'm not seeing him on the stat sheet, but your guy, Boogie, that you already mentioned, he was on there. He had a sack. And after being weeks of on and off being like a healthy scratch, kind of crazy, right? And I know there's going to be some fans clamoring and pounding the table like, put Boogie out there, put Boogie out there. And I guess before we transition to our next segment, because he's interesting, right? Last season, AJ Epinesa, kind of on and off. This season, now it's Boogie Basham. Have you seen enough from Boogie in his limited snaps for him to be activated for the playoffs?
So for me, I think that kind of still is more matchup specific to me. I've been impressed with him at times. I've been a little underwhelmed with him at times. But to me, he's shown the ability to be a good run defender, and he did get a sack today. But kind of to me, he looks like a little slow in the pass rush, and like if the first pass rush move doesn't work, he doesn't move to a secondary or a third move. But I do kind of like the trajectory that he's coming along with, that, you know, when he's getting his opportunities, he is making plays. And like you said, very similar to Epinesa last year, where we didn't really see much of him. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, Epinesa's up today, and then boom, he flashes and he's making a play in the backfield. I think it's very much the McDermott philosophy of everything having to be earned, and you know, they don't really care where they drafted you. If you don't earn a spot, you're not getting it. But to me, that kind of bodes well, looking more to the future with a couple aging defensive linemen, defensive ends. But for the remainder of this season, the playoffs, I would say if you have a more run-heavy team, I'd see him in there. If it's going to be more of a passing offense, I'd probably leave him off the field.
Right. I want to correct myself. Vernon Butler was activated for this game.
Okay.
He just didn't show up in the stat column.
Yeah,
which
I saw
doesn't
him,
sound surprising.
Yeah,
to me.
I saw him chasing Zach Wilson. I was like, is that Vernon Butler actually looking like he might make a play? He didn't make a play, but it was like I had to do a double take at the number, and I was like, oh,
I know, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if FA was able to go in this game, Vernon Butler doesn't see the field.
For
hands
sure.
down, in my opinion.
Sure.